All right, everybody. Good morning. My name's Cody. I am the program director over here at Workflow Secrets. And what we are doing in these videos is we are diving into ChatGPT and we're seeing if we can't share with you guys some ways that you can apply this directly to your real estate business. A lot of this is just pretty free flowing format. And it's me kind of just playing around. It's recording what I'm doing and sharing with you guys. So if you are liking what you're seeing, go ahead, like this video, comment, subscribe. We are going to be building this out as we go along. I know we are in the infancy of ChatGPT, and there's a lot that can be done. I know that the world is kind of on the fence about it right now, but I think that there are a lot of powerful things that can be done. I think that there's a lot of terrible things that can be done too. But I think that we are on the cusp of something really incredible. So as I was turning over my YouTube channel the other day, I was like, whoa, so many people are tuning into this. So clearly it is a interesting topic. It's pressing for us as real estate professionals. And as a technologist, man, I'm just so excited to be playing with this. When I was talking to Mark, he pretty well started into technology. He started in the 80s when he was in college, and him and his Commodore 64. He always talked about being on the cusp of something that he could tell was really powerful. And I get that same feeling here, and he does too. And it's been cool to be able to look through the lens of how this applies to our work, as well as share with you guys, so that hopefully you can cut down a little bit of time. Maybe saving some time, you can focus on some other things in life. But it's really what we're here for. So what I want to talk about today is something called seeding. Now, I'm going to preface this with a little bit of a, sorry, because unfortunately, and I will go ahead and share my screen. Unfortunately, I am now one of the many people who have experienced ChatGPT being unable to let me log in. They're at capacity, and I'm not upset. I'm pretty grateful that they're like growing, they're expanding, and this surely has to mean something cool from it. But man, I'm logged out. So if you are logged in right now, either A, log out, let me in, come on, or stay logged in, right? That's kind of how I see this going. Now, we do have access to the playground, and I have it pulled up. This is truthfully my second run at this video because the playground aired out on me. And so what we might have to do is just kind of free flow format this. And I apologize that we're not actually diving into GPT in this one, but I do have notes just to the right of this screen. So hopefully you can take something from this video. I would love to know what your thoughts are, but today we're going to be talking about seeding, and seeding is kind of a new turn of phrase that I've been encountering, as well as prompt engineering, and that's kind of what I'm slowly becoming again as I learn more and more about GPT, and it's all tied together. A good prompt engineer is going to be seeding. So when I was talking to Mark, I was at his house the other evening, and we were working from like 10 at night to midnight, just playing around. And I said, you obviously are pretty good at this because you have a technology background. You speak so many programming languages that you probably know more dead languages than working languages. And so I think your brain is wired different than mine, because I know how to code CSS barely. I taught myself. And so if you are not the technology type, I just want you to know that there's totally a space here for you, and don't feel like this is like some programmer mecca or anything like that. This is the everyman land, right? So that's me. I'm an everyman. But seeding and prompt engineering is all about taking the information that is contextual and giving it to GPT and course correcting so that it can better help you achieve your desired outcomes. So how this looks like is you want to start explaining what our goals and objectives are for what we're doing. Now, oftentimes there's going to be a lot of back work that is going to happen. So I'm going to share a couple of examples based around what we are doing over here at Workflow Secrets. Hopefully, you can take this and you can contextualize it and use it in your own business. But for what we are doing, I am getting ready to work through some curriculum changes. I really want to focus in more on who we are talking to, how we're talking to them. And there's this really interesting concept in marketing called vehicle changes. And so essentially what you want is you want to share with someone how they are currently in a 1999 Impala, but you by working with them, by engaging with them, by empowering them and teaching them and taking them through this process are going to put them in a brand new Tesla Roadster, right? So you see how that transition happens. And so it's a mind shift and there's work involved. And we as real estate agents kind of do this from our first time home buyer who knows nothing about the process. We're educating, we're empowering, we're walking through all the steps. And this is where we talk about this in our best workflow secrets. You become the expert. You're driving that world-class client experience, and you're able to really just give them all and everything that you know so that they not only recognize you as the expert, but they're empowered to be able to make it through the process. Now, these are all the things that as a real estate agent make you super memorable, makes you stick in their mind. And so that's kind of what I want to do in my own business. I want to figure out how can I help you guys, the real estate agents, be empowered. Now, there are a lot of real estate agents out there, and I hear about them all the time. I work with them a lot, and they're working 14, 16 hours a day, 6 days a week, sometimes 7 days a week, 51.5 weeks out of the year. That seems terrible to me. Why would we come to real estate to find financial or time freedom from that 9 to 5 grind just to be handcuffed and shackled to this incredibly intense working schedule? I just think, life is too short for that. And I think that we need to really focus on how we can help those people. So what we do over here at Workflow Secrets is we do that through, we wrote a book. It's got literally 3 decades of secrets that Mark has encapsulated. He spent a year, writing them down and teaching them and offering webinars. And I pretty well went through and I gathered all of the documents that he had. I gathered all of the trainings that he had done, every video that I could get my hands on, and I started processing through and figuring out and understanding. And then I wrote this book, and then Mark and I went through it over the course of about a month with an editor. And in the evenings, we just refined it. And we have a book, which is like crazy to me. So if you want to be an author, be an author. Just decide. Back to that vehicle change. I went from not being an author to being an author. Boom. So side plug, I suppose, if you're interested in this book, it's on Amazon. I'll throw a link down below. But literally all of these secrets that Mark has helped literally thousands of people over 3 decades do in real estate. And it's helping these real estate agents find freedom. And that's so cool. But back to what we're doing. So as we are seeding this information, we need to explain our goals. Now, my goal is to be able to reach out to those people and say, hey, I know that time is something that is so precious to you and you don't have any of it. And you might be in a spot that you feel like, you know what, I'm so busy. I literally can't think about anything other than being busy. But I want to share with you a better way. And so I need to figure out how I can engage with those people, where they're at, how I can talk to them, and I can paint the picture of who they will become. Now, because real estate is so specific, who they will become is such a difficult question to answer. And so that is where I'm going to start seeding information into GPT. So right now, what I've got, and I will pull it over to the screen. I've got it's 35 pages of information. And this is a staging document that I've built out that I'm going to be using for seeding our core strategies program so that, again, we can find better people. Now, Let's apply this to real estate. What this means for you is taking what you are an expert at, that niche that you are in. We talk about this in our book. That's why I'm like plugging the book. But you are going to be applying all of these terms, all of these concepts. You're going to be teaching ChatGPT how to do that. And so I need to seed it on what a workflow is. A workflow is an automated process that uses text messages, emails, video calls, to-do lists, and phone call reminders. I have it written pretty in depth. And then what I started doing is I started writing and grabbing pieces from that book that are going to be important for ChatGPT to know as well, such as knowing your why. Your why is that thing that, the worst day of your career, on the day you want to give up, that's the thing that keeps you engaged. And we have a really cool framework. It's called the Truth Framework. And essentially you ask yourself, why is that 5 times? And you go from the temptational to the rational to the uncovered, and then the true, and then finally your honest why pops out. And that's the thing that keeps you at real estate, or really anything that you do. I'm a martial artist, and my honest why is going to be the answer that keeps me in martial arts. Keeps me in entrepreneurship, keeps me staying and working on my fitness, all these things. Truth Framework. There's a freebie for you. But so I'm going to start plugging that in, becoming the expert. I keep referencing this, talking about being the expert. And what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be teaching ChatGPT all of these different things. Now, as I'm plugging in all of these different things, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to ask it to say, as I'm writing this content, analyze it and provide feedback about the content and how I might improve it. Now, what it's going to be doing from there is it's going to be giving me suggestions on how I personally can improve it, the content that I'm providing it. Now, this could be in a couple different ways. It could be me improving the content that I'm literally giving it. Maybe it's like, you know what, Cody, there's actually a 6th why, and you're finding the why. Whoa, that's crazy. But sometimes it's improving how you're giving ChatGPT that information. And so you can utilize these suggestions that it's giving you. Again, my keyword in this entire series is going to be discernment. That's right. I feel like a Sesame Street character, but discernment, because you are the expert. And ChatGPT, I like to say, is a 16-year-old with a Mustang. It's dangerous, right? It has so much confidence in what it's doing, and you just have to be really careful with that. So discernment, but ask it to improve on the content, give you suggestions. Now, one of the other things that I am going to be having it do is I'm also, asking it to give me in-depth analysis, or state back what I had given it so that I can understand. And from what I understand, I can then give it feedback so that when it gives me wrong information, I can immediately say, whoa, that's actually not right. So how this would apply to you as a real estate agent is if you are a expert in first-time home buyers, and you're telling ChatGPT, hey, I've been in real estate for this many years. I work with these clients in this space, and this is my market. This is how I've shown up for them in the past. This are all of the different resources that I use. Here are some of the most impressive articles that I would send to my clients so that they can start to figure out this first-time homebuyer process. I also have the access to this program and this program and this program, and what those programs do is this and this and this. You see how you're building out the context of what you do. And truthfully, I would wager that a lot of us don't ever think about this context in the first place. So maybe this is a really great thing for you as a real estate agent. As you are becoming that expert, as you are diving into that niche, you're able to really think through, man, what do I drive value for? So you can do that. But every once in a while, and we experienced this when we were starting to seed information about our core program and what Workflow Secrets does, is ChatGPT will just give you wrong information back, and it'll say, Oh, well, I bet you've been in real estate for 70 years. And so then it's your opportunity to say, no, that's actually not right. Um, because of this, not right because of this. You're explaining to it. It's conversational, and you ask it to remove it. What this does is it informs ChatGPT. Okay, I understand that it wasn't right, but now I understand why it wasn't right. And they call this an AI model, but it's not always inherently an AI. Like we're still training the AI in how to give us the most effective things. So all of this can be done, and you can start building out all of these different processes. Now, once you do that, here's an example that I kind of whipped up. So one day after the listing agreement, this activity will be due. If I specify the date, January 18th, as the listing agreement, 2 days before would be when I would want the listing agreement to be generated. Give me an example of a calculation based on the value I told you before. Now, woof, that was very technical. So what I'm saying is one day after the listing appointment, I need to do this process thing. If I specify that the process that I need done is on this specific date, 2 days before that is when I actually need it to be submitted. And these are things that we would typically tell an assistant, right? And so you are basically telling it what you're doing. Now, the really cool thing that we started playing around with, as you guys know, I love to use RealVolve. RealVolve is a real estate specific CRM. And the reason why I started telling it about workflows was because I want ChatGPT to understand what a workflow is so that I can ask it to start building workflows for me, right? So this is the crux of what a workflow is going to be, and I am able to kind of seed in all of this information. I'm leading it towards the path that is help me build workflow, which is incredible. And the really cool thing is not only can it help you build the workflow, it'll give you those steps, it'll give you all the processes that you need done. It can empower you with the actions that need to be achieved. And for some of those templates, it can even give you the code. I was able to create a newsletter template in HTML, CSS, which RealVolve is able to accept. So I could literally grab the code that it generated for me, plug it into a template in RealVolve. Everything is going to be appropriately sized and shaped and boxed so that it is responsive to both a mobile device and for your computer, which is just like crazy. As a person who, again, taught himself HTML, CSS, that is very difficult. And GPT just did it like that. Now, again, I went through and I edited. I had to add in my own content. I had to add in video or not videos, images. But man, the hardest part is sometimes laying out how you want those. And so it was incredible. But so this is kind of what we are able to do. And again, I'm pretty well, this is the point that I'm trying to make. And because I can't get into ChatGPT, the playground, honestly, it was giving me so many errors. I'm afraid almost to like play along at home. So I do apologize. Maybe this video isn't as valuable since it's just me being a talking head. But I think that there's some really cool stuff that can be done when you start seeding your information appropriately. And like I said, once you have all of this done, you're able to massage it, and you're able to ask ChatGPT for step-by-steps, ask for use cases, empower it to generate prompts or examples. And all of these are going to, again, be a way that you can gain additional insights that maybe you hadn't thought about as a real estate agent. You can also empower and or tweak or say, hey, that's not actually right, so that ChatGPT can learn better for you. And at the end of the day, that's the really cool part. Now, how all of this comes to a hedge, I just wish I could show you it. But in ChatGPT, on the left-hand side, you have all of these little buckets that are different chat threads that you've had with ChatGPT. So I think the really cool thing that you can do with this is you can start to have different chat threads that have been seeded with different information. So maybe for my core audience build out, I'm seeding all this information about core and I just label it core audience build out. Now, anytime from there on out, once I have all that information seeded, I need to ask it a question or I want some help. I need an additional thought process about that core strategies program. Boom, I just go back to that little sandbox and I start, talking to that chat GPT. Now, all of the sandboxes are localized. And even though chat GPT is an AI model and like everything's kind of coming into it at once, it doesn't necessarily share any of that information with people as of now. I asked it that and that's what it told me at least. A 16-year-old Mustang, I don't know. But I think that at the end of the day, my personal feeling is nothing is so sacred that you can't share it. And if we are going to move past a age of information, which is kind of what this is, the gurus and the coaches and the murmurs, we have to be willing to give out our best information. And we have to be able to do that so that the things that we are giving it to can have that context, have that understanding. So I know that, some of us might be a little leery to just give out our entire process into ChatGPT. But I honestly think that at the cost of aid, what is so sacred? And we kind of talked about the typing monkey in one of the other videos, and it's essentially that any monkey with enough time and enough monkeys on a typewriter could type a Shakespeare play. And so nothing is so special, but again, it takes discernment, right? We are empowered with discernment. And so this is another tool in your tool belt. And again, I apologize that we weren't able to dive into ChatGPT. Let me know what you think about this concept. Let me know how off base I am. I'm still learning too. And this has been my own little learnings for the last couple of weeks. And let me know if you start applying this too. Like, subscribe, share this video. I thank you so much for just playing along and being here. But that's all I've got for now. I'll see you very soon.